Yes, people, a very, very happy evening to all of you. Thank you so much. So, guys, we started with a brand new chapter in the last class, which was applicability of accounting standard. In that, specifically, we learned the applicability of the accounting standard for companies. Correct? So, let me do a quick revision of that, and then we'll go forward to the next topic in this particular chapter, which is applicability of accounting standard for non-companies, that is non-corporates. Okay. So here, for companies, people, whether it is for companies or non-companies, accounting standard will be applicable if you are engaged in commercial, industrial, or business activity. Any kind of commercial, industrial, or business activity you're doing means you have to apply accounting standard while preparing your financial statements. The main confusion comes only in section 8 companies. A company which is a not-for-profit organization where the profits is not called as profits, it is called as surplus. So they say that whatever surplus we earn, we are not using it for our own personal benefit. So should we follow accounting standards is the question. So ICA has very clearly made a statement that anyone who is engaged in any sort of commercial or industrial or business activities, wherever there is a buying or selling happening, wherever there is a service being provided against money, wherever you have any surplus money invested in fixed deposit, all this will tantamount to commercial or business activity. Commercial business, more or less same only, very minor difference. Industrial means what? Manufacturing. There are a lot of NGOs to have their own self-financing, to raise the funds by their own self. They do have a lot of business activities or commercial activities inside the organization. So even those organizations has to strictly follow the accounting standards. If there is any NGO where they don't have any kind of commercial or business or industrial activity, then what do? For example, there's an organization whose job, is to collect funds and give the funds as it is for a designated purpose. Example, what I gave in the last class is there is an organization who is collecting the funds and providing relief materials for the flood affected areas. So they collect funds and provide the funds as it is. They collect the goods and provide the goods as it is. So in that, there is no monetary transaction per se happening, that way. No commercial aspects of the transactions happening. So therefore, such organizations need not follow any accounting standard. But apart from that, majorly they're doing that. But apart from that, they're doing small business activities, sir. Very, very small business activity. Even if the portion of the business activity or the commercial activity is very small, then the entire organization, for all the aspect of the business or all the aspect of the not-for-profit organization, you have to follow accounting standards. You have to follow accounting standards. Okay. Then what did we discuss? We discussed the various criteria applicable for those companies for applicability of Ind AS and accounting standards. Can you please tell me? Let's do it on the whiteboard. I want to know from all of you, what are the criteria to be looked into for deciding the applicability of Ind AS on the corporates? What is the first criterion for Ind AS? Okay, before that, sorry, before that, I want to know where is the notification of Ind AS given by MCA in Companies Act 2013? Companies Ind AS Rule 2015. Very good. So we have to refer Companies Ind AS Rule 2015, in which the notification has been laid down. Now, what does that say? What does the applicability say here? Who should follow Ind AS? First criteria. Listed companies or those companies who are in the process of listing, either in India or outside India, either in India or outside India. Either you're a listed company or you're in the process of getting listed. The process of listing is begin. The process of listing is begin. For you, the process of learning inter is begin. Foundation pass apnina, the process of inter learning is begin. So like the process of listing is begin apnina, you have to follow Ind AS. In this, who are excluded? Who are excluded? Excluded banking companies and insurance company. Why? Because they have not been notified to follow Ind AS. So banking companies will prepare the financial statement as per the regulatory body, which is RBI, full form Reserve Bank of India. Whereas insurance company will follow the instruction given by their regulators, which is IRDAI. What is the full form? Insurance Regulatory Development Authority of India. Okay, not okay. Okay. So these two companies, even though they're listed, they are excluded. So can you give example of listed banking company? HDFC, Kotak, Axis, ICICI, SBI, all these are listed banks. Can you give example of insurance company? LIC or Niva Bupa. These are the people who are excluded from Ind AS applicability. Okay, super. Second criteria. I will look into net worth. So it is net worth criteria. So which category of people have to apply Ind AS? Whose net worth is 250 crore or more. 250 crore or more. Those who said 500, that was there in the phase 1. When the Ind AS was bought in phased manner, no, in phase 1, they said whosoever net worth is 500 crore and above, for you it is Ind AS applicability. Second phase layer, they made it to 250 crore. Got it, not. So at present, what is the applicable level? 250 crore and above. Sir, should we remember both the limit? Yes. In case if they ask you, what are the roadmap for implementation of Ind AS Apnina, then that full roadmap has to be laid down. So that I'll discuss exclusively tomorrow when I do revision, no, for this entire chapter. In that I'll discuss the roadmap also. Chalo. Net worth, whose net worth is 250 crores or more. Who are these people? These are those companies, not people. These are those companies which are not covered above, who are not covered above. Appan yaar varvanga? Unlisted companies plus NBFCs. Unlisted companies and NBFC. In phase 1, NBFC were not included. Later, they were also included. Got it, not got it. So unlisted companies whose net worth is 250 crores or more and NBFC should be included. Got it, not got it. Got it? Clear with this point? Okay. Now, listed companies, do we check the net worth? For listed companies, do we check net worth? No. Listed companies, by default, even if the net worth is 10 rupees, you have to apply Ind AS. Got it, not got it. So, for listed companies, net worth criteria will not be checked. That is what I mentioned. Companies whose securities are listed or in the process of listing either in India or outside India has to apply Ind AS. No need to check net worth for these companies. For net worth, yaar check panno. For unlisted companies is what net worth has to be checked for. Got it, not got it. And remember, it is more than or equal to 250 crores. 250 crores or more. This is second criteria. Third criteria for applicability of Ind AS. Third criteria. Holding company or the subsidiary company of that company who's following Ind AS. Who's following Ind AS? Holding company or the subsidiary company of that company who follows Ind AS. Example. Kalpavriksha Academy Limited. Listed company. It is listed company. So what should I follow? Ind AS I'll follow. Okay, wow. This is holding company. Now, KVA is holding FFLA. Chiriya, FFLA Private Limited. FFLA Private Limited. 51% of the voting power or the capital is under control of KVA. Apana, this becomes holding company or parent company. Whereas FFLA is called as subsidiary company. Now, it is private limited. Net worth is 100 crore. Chiriya. So FFLA is neither listed nor net worth is 250 crore or more. Apana, Ind AS should not come is what you will think. So in first two criteria, Ind AS applicability is not coming. But what is third criteria saying? FFLA is subsidiary company of that company. Which company? KVA, who follows Ind AS. So if your holding company or subsidiary company is following Ind AS Aptina, you, even though not listed, even though net worth is less than 250 crores, you have to follow Ind AS because your holding company is following Ind AS or subsidiary is following Ind AS. So any one of your group companies following Ind AS Aptina, rest of the group companies also has to follow Ind AS only. Got it? Not got it? Holding and subsidiary companies of the above should follow Ind AS if any of their group company is coming into Ind AS by virtue of above 2 points. So KVA came into Ind AS because of the above 2 points. Because of that, the subsidiary company FFLA also has to now apply Ind AS. Got it? Not got it? Got it? Not got it? Okay. In our language, we call this category of companies as super big company. Super big company. How many classification in total? Super big company, and small company. For super big company, we talk about the applicability of Ind AS. Apana, for big company and SMC, small and medium company, what do we apply for? For both it is AS. For both of them it is AS. Big company is technically called as non-SMC. SMC stands for small medium companies. So if I'm not small apnina, I should write non-SMC. Non-SMC. Adhik badal, we have used the word big company. In your exam, can you use the word big company and super big companies? No, you cannot use such language in come. It is only for our understanding and discussion purpose. Now, in your textbook, ICAS defined to be SMC, what are the 5 conditions? So if all the 5 conditions are satisfied, apnina, you are SMC. In that, if any one is violated, one violate anaguda vande, you are non-SMC. Up then you are a big company. Got it? Not got it? So can you tell me the first condition? Listed sollama. Listed, now it goes to super big. So what will come here? Unlisted. You should be unlisted or not in process of listing, either in India or outside India, which means your either equity, that is securities, either equity or debt instrument should not be listed or should not be in the process of listing either in India or outside India. Sir, if I'm listed, then what will happen? It becomes super big company. Ind AS will follow. Okay, not okay. So it should be unlisted or not in the process of listing. Not listed, not in process of listing, either India or outside India. So you're talking about all the unlisted company. Unlisted company aptina, you can consider yourself being SMC. Okay, not okay. So unlisted public company, private company, OPC will all come under this criteria, provided they satisfy the remaining 4 conditions. Okay. First condition is over. Second condition is what? This company, what we are talking about, should not be either a bank, should not be a bank or financial institution or insurance company. None of this it should be there. So Axis Bank, sorry, let me take XYZ Bank, unlisted. As per first criteria, it is SMC, satisfied. But since it is a bank, can I continue further? No. So automatically the unlisted bank will go where? To non-SMC, because bank are excluded from the Ind AS. So bank is excluded here also. Bank is excluded here also, Apnina. Where will that person go or that company go? Automatically to the non-SMCs. So bank and insurance company will automatically go to non-SMCs. Okay. What is the third criteria? Turnover criteria. For AS it is turnover criteria. For Ind AS it is net worth criteria. Turnover should not be more than 250 crores. Should not be more than 250 crores. So how much it should be there to become an SMC? If turnover is rupees 1 to rupees 250 crore, it is within 250 crores apnina, you can be an SMC. It is more than 250 crores. 250 crore and 1 rupee. 250 crore plus 1 rupee apnina, you become a non-SMC. So if I have to call myself small apnina, my turnover should be either 1 rupee up to maximum 250 crores. It should not go beyond 250 crores. More than 250 crores apnina, it becomes non-SMC. So here it is more than 250 crore. More than 250 crore. Okay, va. Cherry. What is the fourth criteria? For me to become a small company or a medium company, debt should be from rupees 1 to rupees 50 crore. It should not be more than 50 crores. It should not be more than 50 crores. My debt should not be more than 50 crores. Then I'll be small company. Sir, if my debt is more than 50 crore and 1 rupee only extra, then by default you become a non-SMC. So debt is more than 50 crore. Debt is more than 50 crore. Then it is a non-SMC. Non-SMC. Any problem? 4 criteria solved. Now one more criteria if you satisfy, apna, you become a SMC. So what is the last criteria? You should not be holding company or the subsidiary company of யாரோட holding company subsidiary company இருக்க கூடாது. Non-SMC. You should not be the holding and subsidiary of non-SMC, because if you are a holding company of non-SMC na, so if non-SMC all AS applied na, then for you holding company all AS have to be applied. So you cannot come under SMC. Got it? Not got it? So you should not be the holding company or the subsidiary company of non-SMC or super big company. Super big company means what? Should not be holding or subsidiary company of that company which is following Ind AS. Who is following Ind AS? Don't be a relative of big company. If you be a relative of big company, relative and a holding subsidiary relationship, that is called as relation. If you are a relative of big company apnina, then what big company applies will be applied on you. If you are a relative of super big company apnina, then what is applied to super big company on you also it will be applied. Got it? Not got it? Clear or not clear? Okay. If all these 5 conditions are satisfied, you may call the company as small and medium sized company. All these conditions have to be cumulatively be satisfied. It is plus conditions. All together has to be satisfied. Out of these 5, any one is violated apnina, you either become a big company or super big company. Okay, not okay? Clear or not clear? Any difficulty? No difficulty. Now this is the revision of last class. Okay, before that, chalo, sir, I am an SMC. I am an SMC. What is the rule for me? The rule is you will follow AS. You'll follow AS only, no doubt, but with some relaxation and exemptions. So now please tell me, if I am an SMC company apnina, which AS I am fully exempted? 31720. This is completely your choice not to follow. Please understand, ICA is telling that இது நீங்க ஃபாலோ பண்ண தேவையில்லைன்னு சொல்லி. It is not required to follow. Sir, but I want to follow apnina, can I follow? Nobody can stop you. If you want to apply AS 31720 despite being an SMC apnina, it's your choice. But ICA is telling that we will not compel you. If you want to follow, you follow, but we will not compel you. Got it? Not got it? Clear or not clear? With this regard, I have small points to be discussed, but what I thought was I'll finish non-corporate also. Together I'll discuss all the small points which is common for both of them. Is that okay? Okay, because that is regard to disclosure. There are some disclosure points which I'll discuss at the end after I complete all the non-corporate part. Okay, then we have something called as partial exemption. Which AS have to partially comply and not comply? AS 15, some part of it should be complied, some part of that should not be complied, need not be complied. Okay, not okay? Clear or not clear? Okay, then comes disclosure based exemption. Disclosure based exemption, which is that? 19, 28, 29. 19, 28, 29. In the 3 A's you have to follow. But wherever they talk about disclosure aspect, that alone you need not follow. Got it? Not got it? Wherever they have recognition based aspect, measurement based aspect, presentation based aspect, that you follow. Whatever is said in this 3 A's. But here, whatever they have spoken about disclosure based aspect, no, adu follow panna thevilla. Okay, not okay? Tell me. Okay, then comes event based exemption. Event based exemption means what? If this event occurs, then follow, otherwise don't follow. Which are that? All the odd numbers: 21, 23, 25, 27. Got it? Not got it? Any difficulty in this? Okay, sir, if I'm a big company which is non-SMC apnina, what I should do? I have to follow all AS without any exemption. There is no exemption. All the AS has to be followed. All the AS has to be followed. Sir, if I'm coming under Ind AS category, do I have any relaxation? No. All the Ind AS has to be followed. All the Ind AS has to be followed. And remember one thing: if any company is once applying Ind AS apnina, for rest of the life of the company, Ind AS only will be applied. There is no way going back. Once you start applying Ind AS apnina, let's say you're a super big company, you're applying Ind AS. So tomorrow, I'm not a super big company. I became unlisted company. Net worth also only 100 crores. Now what to do? Once you start applying Ind AS, Aptina, you have to apply Ind AS lifelong. Got it, not got it. But that's not the case for AS. So I'll be discussing that in today's session at the end. So imagine you are a big company. From big company, you're going to non-SMC Aptina. Then what to do, what not to do. Here we have some relaxations, some comfortability, but that comfortability is not there in Ind AS. Got it, not got it. With regard to that, we have sums also to work out. Sharia? Okay. Now, this was the complete revision of the last class. Now, next, we are going to discuss the fresh topic for the day, which is again applicability of the accounting standard for non-companies, which is non-corporates. So, who all come under non-companies or non-corporates? Please tell me. Sole proprietorship concern, partnership concern, LLP, society, trust, all of these people come under non-companies. So any non-corporates engaged again in same commercial, industrial and business activities will have to 100% follow accounting standard based on their applicability levels. Now listen to me very carefully. In the new textbook, what has happened, they've given the criteria for non-companies. By mistakenly, they have missed out to record the criteria for the companies. The criteria is what we discussed, for corporates. They have forgot to capture it here. Because I read the entire textbook, I couldn't find anywhere the criteria for the companies. For non-companies, they have clearly mentioned. But somehow they missed the criteria of the companies in this textbook. New one. Whereas in the old one, they have mentioned properly. However, guys, the criteria for classification of non-companies entity from the point of view of the applicability of AS is undergone a change. There's a revision that has happened. Sir, when did this revision happen? The council of the ICI. There are multiple council meetings held by ICI. Like how we have GST council meeting, to decide about lot of GST related decision making, notification, etc. Like that, there are a lot of council meeting done by ICI also. So in their 433rd meeting, which was held on August, between 13 to 15, 13, 14, 15th August 2024, in this meeting, they have revised the criteria for classification of non-company entities for applicability of AS. During this date, that is 13, 14, 15th August 2014, they have reclassified the criteria for categorizing non-companies for the purpose of classifying applicability of the accounting standard. The revised scheme for the applicability of AS for non-corporates comes into effect in the respect of the accounting period commencing from 1st April 2024. So any enterprise, which enterprise? Non-corporate enterprise, who is commencing their accounting period from 1 April 24, they have to follow the guidelines given in the revised criteria. The revised criteria that has been set for applicability, right? That has to be followed. With effect from 1 April 24. Mark this date as very, very important. Even in my notes, I have mentioned that date. It's very important. You might get an MCQ question that from which date onwards the new criteria for the applicability of AS on the non-corporates is applicable, right? So it is 1 April 2024. 1 April 2024. So application of the accounting standard issued by ICI commencing on or after 1 April 24. The new application of the accounting standard. Which is issued by ICI is applicable with effect from 1st April 2024. Now, what is the difference, sir? Earlier, they categorized all these non-corporate entities under 4 levels: level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. Now that level 1 is there, they've removed the language level 1, and level 1 is now renamed as large entities. Whereas level 2 is now renamed as medium entities. Level 3 is renamed as small entities. Level 4 is renamed as micro entities. And all of them put together is renamed as one single category called as MSME, micro, small, medium entities. The question that should come to your mind is, sir, the rule that was given earlier was better, or this new change that they've got, that is better? The answer to this is that the rule that they gave earlier was very complicated. Now they have tried to make it very simplified at par with the applicability criteria for the companies. For companies, please tell me how many criteria are there for SMC? 5 criteria. You will not believe, same 5 criteria they have copy pasted here. Which means now there is no difference between the criteria of applicability for companies and non-companies. So which means your life is made easier or difficult now? Easier. You come back here, same drama. Listing status, nature of activity should not be bank, FIs, insurance company, same turnover criteria, same borrowing criteria, turnover criteria also same, 1 rupee to 250 crore, borrowing also same, 1 to 50 crore, like that, relationship based holding subsidiary, same point. You want to see what is there earlier? I'll show. Last year it was, up to last year it was, for medium enterprise Aptina, they've given separate turnover limit for medium enterprise. So if you're somebody whose turnover is more than 50 up to 250, you're medium. Or your turnover is more than 10 up to 50 Aptina, you're small. Or you're somebody whose turnover is 1 rupee to 10 crore Aptina, micro. Apona, how many turnover criteria you have to remember? 1, 2, 3, 4. Adhe mari, for borrowing also they had 4 different criteria, which means they gave like slab. From this slab to this slab, you're level 1. From this slab to this slab, you're level 2. Like that slab wise they gave turnover, slab wise borrowing they gave. How much complicated it was? Too much complicated. So now you don't have to remember any of these now. It's all concised and made one single limit. And the limit is made equal to your limits given for companies. So your pressure to remember the points are very, very drastically reduced. Thanks to ICI. Lovely. Now, no, really, we have to thank them that they made our life very easy. Now, here also they have classified who is MSME. So if 5 conditions of MSME is satisfied, you're MSME, or else you're a large entity. What do we do? Should I read large entity first, then go to MSME, or do MSME first, then come to large entity? MSME will discuss. Chalo, great. For you to classify yourself as MSME, you have to fulfill 5 conditions. You have to satisfy 5 conditions. First is listing status. Let me talk about Kalpavriksha Academy, which is a either sole proprietorship concern or partnership concern. Purida. I'm talking about non-corporates. I want all the online people to switch on the videos. I'm seeing all of you. Entities whose securities not listed or not in process of listing in any stock exchange, whether in India or outside India. Kalpavriksha Academy, who am I? Sole proprietorship concern or partnership concern. I should not be listed, nor I should be in process of listing either in India or outside India. Now you should have a doubt here. What doubt you should have? Companies only listing will happen, no sure. For sole proprietorship concern, partnership concern, how the listing will happen? Why? What nonsense are they talking in gaping? It is true that these entities cannot be listed. Then what are they talking about? So they are talking about certain types of organizations who will have their debt instrument listed on the stock exchange. For example, NABARD. Can somebody Google and tell what is the full form of NABARD and what they do? Fast. No, all of you know by heart. Huh? How? Studied in 12th? You had? Oh my God. Can you tell the full form? National? Correct. What is their job? So they do financing for farmers. Correct? Now, how NABARD is very related to me. Not relative. How it is related, I'll tell you. So when I was working in the company, in one private company in 2016-17, that was an agri-based private limited company. So that company was into manufacturing of solar water pumps. Now, what is solar water pump? All of you know that in agriculture, from underground, they have to take that, water, for agriculture purpose. So on the motor, so if you switch on the motor, it will pump out the water from the deep underground, for our usage. So that motor will work on current. So current is expensive. In some places, no, the current pipelines will not pipeline. The current line will not be laid down properly. So let's say in deep interior area, if I have a agri land, if there is no power supply there, then I'll not be able to get the water from underground. The motor cannot start. So there they try to, generate the power using solar. So we used to manufacture and sell solar water pumps. In that, NABARD, through one government program, they had sponsored the farmers that, let's say you're buying a solar water pump for 5 lakh rupees, for X number of rupees, we will, pay the money. Let's say out of 5 lakh rupees, 3 lakh rupees, we will sponsor. We will give it as a subsidy. That's the right word. We'll give it as a subsidy. So for a farmer, if he pays 2 lakh from his pocket, 3 lakh comes from government. So the 3 lakh amount that he doesn't have to pay is called as subsidy, right? So NABARD was one of the main body who was regulating that subsidy activity. He is the decision-making authority. How much subsidy to give, whether to give or not give, that was the decision taken by NABARD. Now, this is a body which has been created by the Act of Parliament. Now, this NABARD needs funding, no? For funding, it needs fund. So they raise funds through a lot of debt instruments. So their debt instruments are listed in the stock exchange. If you go to the stock exchange, any platform, Zerodha or Grow, any platform, and go and check debt instrument of NABARD, or NABARD, if you type up, you'll get the debt instrument listed on the stock exchange. So NABARD, is it a company? No, it's not a company. It's a non-corporate, but still they have a provision. In law, they have a provision to list their debt securities on the stock exchange. Likewise, if you see NHAI, National Highway Authority of India, they also have their bonds listed on the stock exchange. Is NHAI a corporate? No, it is a non-corporate. So they have their bonds listed on the stock exchange. So these people, are the NABARD, NHAI, can we call them as large entities or MSMEs? So NABARD and NHAI have their bonds listed. Can I call them as MSME? No, they become automatically large entity. NABARD, NHAI are non-corporate. They are not company. They are non-corporate. So in non-corporate, either you are a large entity or MSME. Can I say NABARD and NHAI is MSME? No, because they have their debt instrument bond listed in the stock market. So since they are listed now, they will not be called as MSME. They'll automatically go under which category? Large entity category. So if any entities such as NABARD or NHI, whose security, which security, either equity security or debt security, are listed or are in the process of listing in any stock exchange, whether in India or outside India, they'll be categorized as large entities. Okay, not okay. CA.Prathik Academy. Let's say either a sole proprietorship concern or partnership concern. I am not listed, nor am I in the process of listing. That's a different story. I can't list only because the law does not allow people like us to get listed. Who am I? MSME. Provided that I'm satisfying all the remaining 5 conditions. Okay, second, I'm NABARD or NHAI. My bonds are listed in the stock market. Imagine all the 4 conditions satisfied, but first condition not satisfied. I'm listed. Am I MSME? No. Who am I? Large entity. This point is clear or not clear? A lot of people have a lot of confusions here. Okay, next. Second condition, end condition for me to become MSME. I should not be a bank. Including cooperative bank. There'll be cooperative housing bank. There's so many other banks who are other than corporate banks. So if I'm a non-corporate bank, then I'll be called as a large entity. If I'm a financial institution, I'll be called as a large entity. If I'm into insurance business, I'm not company, I'm a non-company, but I'm doing insurance business, then I'm a large entity. So for me to become MSME, I should neither be a bank, nor a financial institution, nor a insurance business, Got it, not got it? Then I'll be called as a large entities. So entities like bank, including cooperative bank, financial institutions, and insurance business are categorized under large entities. Okay, not okay? Okay. Third condition, same condition, turnover condition. My turnover should be not more than 250 crores. Up turnover up to 250 crore it can be. That is from 1 rupee to 250 crores. If my turnover is there, I am MSME. If my turnover is more than 250 crore, I'm a large entity. So more than 250 crore, large entity. Up to 250 crore, I'm a MSME. I'm a MSME. Any difficulty in this? Any difficulty? Tell very difficult this is. Very difficult. Open your mouth and say. No difficult. Okay. Next, this turnover should be checked when people on the last day of the preceding accounting year. Current year is what? 2026, 27. We are in which financial year right now? 26, 27. Current year, am I MSME or large entity? Aptin paakumbodhu, I have to see turnover. Turnover of which year? Previous accounting year. What is previous accounting year? 25, 26. So on 31st March 26, no, I have to check what is my turnover. So I have to check the turnover on the last day of the preceding accounting year. And while considering the turnover, I should not consider other income. So purely what should I consider? Revenue from operation is what I have to consider. Can I say this is the same condition for corporate also? Same condition, no change. Ditto copy paste. Okay. What is the fourth criteria? Borrowing criteria. Borrowing of current year should I see? Current year I'm deciding whether I'm MSC or large entity. Appa adadu borrowing current year papana. Always borrowing should be seen of previous year. Which day of the previous year? Last day of the previous year. Sir, who said last day? Anytime during the previous year. The previous accounting year clear. Anytime during that period, if your borrowing is more than 50 crore, you are a large entity. Up to 50 crore means MSME. More than 50 crore, large entity. Up to 50 crore, MSME. 49.9 crore, MSME. 40 crore, 50.1 crore, large entity. Any problem? So up to 50 crore, MSME. More than 50 crore, large entity. At any time during the preceding accounting year. Immediately preceding accounting year. Immediately past accounting year is what we have to see. Same condition. Any change? What condition we saw for corporate? So far, copy paste as it is. What do you think is the last condition? You should not be the holding in the subsidiary of large entity. If Kalpavriksha is either holding or the subsidiary of a large entity, then what is applicable for large entity? It will be applicable on me also. So if I should not be a large entity abdina, then I should not be the holding and subsidiary of the large entity. Sir, if I'm holding and subsidiary of large entity, I will also become large entity. So any MSME which is holding and subsidiary of large entity abdina, they are also large entity. Okay, not okay? Online people, okay, not okay? Fantastic so far. Your life is made very easy so far. One small place they're a little bit complicated. That is what I'm going to discuss. If all of you are geared up, I'll discuss. This is smooth. This is no problem. Okay, but before I jump into that, let me give example to all of you. Sir, can you give few examples for large entities? Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam Trust. We call this as TTD Trust. TTD Trust. It's a not-for-profit organization. Not-for-profit organization. Should they follow accounting standard? Should they apply accounting standard while preparing the financial statement? The answer is allowed 100% yes. Why? It's a trust, not-for-profit organization. Deni shop, akka ki shop da laddu theriyaliya kanla. Tirupati na first kannuku enna varum? Oh, Balaji Sami kuda varamattaru. Avar da first varano. Adu vittu laddu da theriyudhu ungalku. Laddu. One laddu free you will get. Second laddu if you want abdina, first line la ninnu avar pay panni vaangano. Pay panni vaangana abdina, is it not commercial activity? Is it not business activity? Yes. Moreover, you have some free darshanam unde. This option of free darshanam. Plus, if you want to do it very faster, you want to meet Lord Balaji very quickly, fast, then there's 300 rupees ticket. What motive is that? Commercial motive, business motive. Nothing wrong in that, no? Correct, no? Okay, after 300, is there any other ticket I've not gone? I'm asking. 500 ka hota? 500 I've not heard. 500. What's the difference between 300 and 500? Same only. Oh, extra water they'll put. Oh. No, I've heard some 1,000, 10,000 rupees and all is there. 10 lakh. 10 lakh. 10 lakh na enna pannu? I'll donate 10 lakh. Oh. Cherry. All commercial motive? Okay. Small part of your trust activity is having or coming under commercial apnina or business activity apnina, 100% you have to apply AS. Okay, not okay. Okay, not okay. Okay. Next is NABARD we discussed. IRFC, ESI, ICAI. ICAI or the profit இருக்கு இல்லையா? It's a not-for-profit organization. Are the members enjoying that every year? No. Correct? So on ICAI, on ICSI, that is company secretary, cost accounting for what you call institutes. On all of that, what is applicable? AS is applicable. Which entity they are? All of them are large entities. All of them are large entities. Big four audit firm. Let's say Deloitte. All of you know, Deloitte is there, no? Like Deloitte or any PwC or KPMG. They have two types of organization. One, they are corporates also. One, they are firm also. Please understand, corporates cannot form an audit firm and do attestation function. But I Coimbatore Deloitte work panaliya. That was called as Deloitte Haskins and Sells. It was an LLP, partnership firm. Only they can sign. Deloitte consultancy is there up till, yeah. That is corporate. They can do consultancy and all the other work. Their partners cannot do attestation function. So here, big four audit firms. Naturally, the turnover is more than 250 crore. All over India, boss. So many branches they have. So their turnover is more than 250 crores. Up till now, they are large entities. Large entities. They have to apply accounting standards. They are not corporates. Deloitte consultancy is there, no. Other corporate. Deloitte Haskins and Sells is there, no. It's an audit firm who does the attestation, signature, signing. That is non-corporates and they come under large entities. So these are the few examples. Then other examples for MSMEs, sole proprietorship concern, partnership, LLP, trust, society, who are satisfying those 5 conditions. Those are satisfying those 5 conditions. Now, sir, if I'm MSME, what is the advantage here? The advantage is that all AS you need not follow. You have some exemption. First is full exemption. Like corporates, here also 31720 is exempted. Plus there's new AS that is exempted here, which is accounting standard 24. AS 24 also have full exemption. AS 24 also full exemption. So how do we remember this, sir? Very simple. 3 plus 17 is how much? 20. How many digit here? 1, 2, 3. Which digit you want? 4th digit. So plus 4, 24. Oh my God. 3, 17, 20, 24. People are laughing at me. Yeah, உனக்கு தான் நல்லா நான் ட்ரிக் எடுத்து கொடுத்துருக்கேன். Think about it, no? எவ்வளவு நல்லா யோசிச்சிருக்கேன் நான். 1, 2, 3. Already 3 AS is there. We want 4th AS. So with 20, if I add 4 அப்படினா, 4th number, I'll get 24. That is the 4th AS which is fully exempted. Any difficulty? See, today you laugh at me. Tomorrow, one day before exam, thank you, Prathik sir. Because of you, I don't have to struggle. You'll come and thank me later. Now, disclosure-based exemption means what? In these accounting standards, if there is any measurement-based aspect, what do you call it? Recognition-based aspect, presentation-based aspect, that you have to follow. Disclosure part, you disclose this, that you need not follow. Which are those AS? All the disclosure requirement of AS and 11, 15, 19, 22, 26, 28, 29 is considered here. In companies, what is there? Disclosure based exemption. 19, 28, 29 mattum. How many extra A's they've added here? 10, 11, 15, 22, 26. I don't know how to remember this. People are expecting, oh, now sir will say something, sir will say something. Sir is not going to say anything. I thought about it. After a point, I gave up. I think instead of this, my students will spend 10 minutes and they'll buy out and go. Then me spending half an hour to make you buy out that. Correct or not correct? மைண்ட் ஓடி இருக்குமே நேரத்துக்கு உங்களுக்கு எல்லாம் ஓடிட்டு இருக்குமே எப்படி ரிமெம்பர் பண்ணலான்ட்டு ஓடுதா? எனி ஐடியா யூ காட்? You'll take care, no? I'll go next point. Okay. Event based exemption. Same 21, 23, 25, 27. One extra is added. 14. Amalgamation. Now how to remember this? In CA Inter, there are 2 deadly concepts. 3 are there. Forget the third one. 2 are too deadly. One is consolidation. Second is amalgamation. AS14 stands for amalgamation. 21, 23, 27 stands for consolidation. So both deadly dragons have come together in one place. Okay, not okay. Which are the 3 deadly topics? Branch, amalgamation, consolidation. Leave branch. Branch is not a part of AS. So which two are part of AS now? Amalgamation is AS 14. Consolidation is AS 21, 23, 27. Any problem? See in this, what is got added? With consolidation, amalgamation is got added. With consolidation, amalgamation is got added, which is AS 14. Got it, not got it? Today you will find difficulty in remembering this. But once we complete all the accounting standards, no, this will be very easy for you to remember. Got it, not got it? Real pain is where, Ipo, they tell no, in AS 10, disclosure based exemption appdin solluvaanga illaya. Now, in that they specifically mentioned that which para of the disclosure you do not follow. So let's say there are 3 para of disclosure apdina, then they will tell all the 3 para of disclosure need not follow, or 2 para of disclosure you did not follow. So in the original AS there is there, no? There are 20 points and the 20 points is called as 20 para. I'll show one original AS to you. Just have a look at that. Now this is AS 20 vechukongla. In the AS 20 point number 35 is there. 35 point irka. This is called as para 35. What is it called as? Para 35. So should we remember all the paras? Not required. In certain places I'll tell you which para to remember, which is important from the examination point of view. That para alone you have to remember. Other para need not remember. So they will tell you specifically, let's say 35, 36 and 37. For example sake I'm taking. Let's say all the 3 are disclosure points. So they will mention that in AS 20, either 3 mein disclose pannadinga, or out of these 3, this alone you do not disclose. If you don't disclose, okay. Other, this is disclosure based exemption. There are 3 disclosure points. In that one disclosure alone is exempted. Upper remaining 2 you have to follow. So like that, AS wise you have to see which pair of disclosure is allowed and not allowed. For which exemption is given and not given. Got it, not got it? Got it, not got it? This is mentioned in your textbook. For example, AS10 which talks about property, plant, equipment. MSME need not comply para 87. If you are going with AS11, AS11 talks about the effects of changes in foreign exchange rates. So MSME need not comply with para 44. Purida. Now in exam, should we remember this or not? If your question is that apnina, you have no choice but to remember. You have no choice but to remember. Sir, will the questions come based on this? I feel very low probability. 99% question should not come. But it is ICI. ICI is always judge me, I'll prove you wrong. You expect that ICI should not ask question from this apnina. That fear I always have. That's why I said 1% chance is that they might ask. Because syllabus is very vast. Paper is for 120-25 marks. Okay, wow. But you never know. They can ask anything. So be ready. So in your textbook, if possible, little by little try to by heart, it'll go to your memory. Got it, not got it. Because since our aim is to get 90 and above, for that we have to take this stress. If aim is let's say 40-50 only, 60 only up, then this you can skip and choice is yours. Got it, not got it? Okay. Now please tell me people, if I'm MSME, what exemptions do I have? What exemptions do I have? One is full exemption. Full exemption for what? 3, 17, 20, 24. Okay, wow. Next is disclosure based exemption. Disclosure based exemption. 10, 11, 15, 19, 22, 26, 28, 29. Okay, wow. This will take time to remember. Next comes event based exemption. Tell the old exemption of corporates. 21, 23, 25, 27. What is added? 14, amalgamation. Got it, not got it? Okay, now listen to very carefully. Now comes the masala. Now listen to very carefully. Here is what they have little bit twisted. We are going to talk about now Accounting Standard 18 and Accounting Standard 28. Accounting Standard 18 talks about related party disclosures and Accounting Standard 28 talks about impairment. 18, 28, both are in 8-8. 1828, 1828. Any difficulty? No difficulty. Exemption is available to MSME if all the following conditions are satisfied. Below 3 conditions are given. If all the 3 conditions satisfied, apnina, you need not follow AS 18 and AS 28 in your financial reporting. While reporting for your financial statement, you need not comply with AS 18 and 28. Correct? If all the three conditions satisfied, your MSME need not qualify or need not satisfy AS 18 and 28. Out of these three, if any one condition is violated, you have to fully follow AS 18 and 28. Fully follow AS 18 and 28. You want to know what are the three criteria? Above, how many criteria are there? 5 criteria. In that, leave criteria 1 and criteria 2. What are the remaining 3 criteria? Turnover criteria, net worth criteria, and relationship criteria. Holding subsidiary relationship criteria. Correct? In the 3 criteria தான் திருப்பி சொல்லியிருக்கான். But amount change ஆகுது. You know how they have derived the amount? Whatever the amount is given under turnover limit, divide by 5. So 250 divided by 5 is how much? 50 crore. So if your turnover is from 1 rupee up to 50 crore aptina, you are MSME who need not follow AS 18 and 28. Sir, my turnover is 50 crore and 1 rupee. Apana, you have to follow AS 18 28 fully. Okay, not okay. So on the 50 crore, how did it derive? 250 crore or the 1/5. 1/5 of 250 crore. Got it, not got it. Now, please come and tell me, for borrowing, what is the original limit? 50 crore. Now, for sublimit, what they've done? No, 1/5 of 50 crore. So, what is 1/5 of 50 crore? 10 crore. Which means if your turnover is 1 rupee to 10 crore aptina, your MSME. AS 1820 need not follow. Sir, my borrowing. Did I say turnover? Borrowing only I said, no? I said turnover. Sorry. If your borrowing is rupees 1 rupee to 10 crore aptina, borrowing up to 10 crore aptina, I am MSME. 18 and 28, I need not follow. 18, 28, I am fully exempted. But if my borrowing is 10 crore and 1 rupee aptina, I have crossed this limit. Then I have to follow AS 18 and 28. I have to follow AS 18 and 28. Okay, not okay. 2 conditions clear. Third condition. You itself tell me. If I am a holding entity or the subsidiary entity of that entity on whom AS 18 is applied apnina, then for me also AS 18 will be applied. For example, CA.Prathik Academy, large entity. Or let's say turnover is crossed more than 50 crore. Turnover more than 50 crore, not 50 crore. Okay, forget large also, leave it. CA.Prathik Academy, turnover more than 50 crore. More than 50 crore. I'm MSME only. But AS 18 I have to follow. 28 I have to follow. Got it, not got it. I'll give an example. Let's talk about CA.Prathik Academy. Turnover, borrowing, relationship. Turnover now 10 crore, borrowing 10 crore. There's no relationship. Who am I? Classification. MSME. Provided that I'm satisfying the remaining 2 criteria. KV is not listed, neither bank nor insurance company or financial institution. So whatever questions I'm going to give, no, for that the points are common. Not listed plus not bank or insurance or financial institutions. Okay, wow. Considering this point only, I'm giving the question. So who am I classification? MSME. So my question to all of you is that with regard to AS 18 and 28, should I comply or not comply? For AS 18, 28, what is the 3 criteria? Your turnover should be from 1 rupee to 50 crore. Idukulla irundhuchu appadina AS 18 need not be complied. Borrowing is 1 crore to 1 rupee to 10 crore appadina I need not comply with AS 28. So can I say both my turnover and borrowing are within the given limit? Hence AS 1820 need not be complied with. Whose turnover excluding other income should not exceed 50 crore in the preceding accounting year. If your turnover is 1 to 50 crore, AS 1828 exempted. If your turnover is more than 50 crore, AS 1828 is not exempted. Got it? Not got it? And means plus one more condition to check. Whose borrowing does not exceed 10 crore at any time during the immediately preceding accounting year. 1 to 10 crore borrowing aptina, AS 1828 fully exempted. If your borrowing is more than 10 crore, 1828 not exempted. Fully have to comply with. Okay, not okay. Clear or not clear? Okay. Now, turnover 30 crore, borrowing 11 crore. Relationship not there. It's a standalone independent entity. There's no holding subsidiary so far. Now tell me, MSME or not? I'm not listed, nor a bank, nor insurance, nor financial institution. Turnover also up to 250. Borrowing also up to 50 crore. So I am MSME. I am MSME. Now, after checking 5 conditions for MSME, check 3 conditions for 18 and 28. What is the 3 condition? First is turnover should be 1 rupee to 50 crore. Is it within 50 crore? Yes. Borrowing 1 crore to 10 crore. Is it within 10 crore? No, it is going beyond 10 crore. Upon 18 and 28 has to be followed. 18 and 28 has to be followed. Any difficulty? No difficulty. Turnover 251 crore. Borrowing 1 crore. There's no relationship. I'm a standalone entity. I have no holding subsidiary. MSME 5 condition. First condition, I'm not listed. I'm neither bank, nor insurance, nor FI. My turnover 1 rupee to 250 crores apdina MSME. But here it is more than 250 crores. So I'm not MSME. Who am I? Large entity. When I'm a large entity, will I look into the 3 criteria for 1828? No, because for large entity, all AS has to be followed. All AS has to be followed. Okay, not okay. Clear? Now, FFLA, Fortunes Fund Learning Academy. Unlisted. Plus, not bank or insurance business or financial institution. Okay, wow. Turnover, borrowing, relationship, classification, 18 and 28. FFLA is subsidiary of CA.Prathik Academy. Who is CA.Prathik Academy? CA.Prathik Academy is MSME plus has to comply AS 18 and 28. AS 1828 to comply. Why? Because I'm coming under MSME 1820 compliance category. Got it, not got it? Because my turnover is more than 50 crore. More than 50 crore. Upon I have to comply with 1828? Yes. Now FFLA, turnover 5 crore, borrowing 1 crore, subsidiary of KVA. Subsidiary of KVA. What is the classification? What is the classification? KVA is MSME only. KVA is MSME. KVA is not large. If KVA is large, by default, FFLA also will become large. But what did it say? KVA is MSME. KVA is MSME. For FFLA, will I check 5 conditions? Yes. FFLA is neither unlisted, what do you call it? Not listed. It's not listed. It's unlisted. Nor bank, nor insurance, nor financial institutions. Turnover 1 rupee to 250 crores. It is well within that. So I'm MSME. Borrowing 1 rupee to 10 crore. I'm within that. So I'm MSME. Plus, I'm not a subsidiary of a large entity. I'm not a subsidiary of the large entity. Upon I'm still a MSME. So can I say in all perspective it is MSME? Imagine if KVA was large entity apdina, then the last condition is violated. Then here also it will become the large entity. So I made it very clear that KVA is not large entity, KVA is MSME. So all 5 conditions satisfied. FFLA is MSME. Any problem? No problem. Now, what are the 3 conditions for AS 1828? First condition, your turnover should be from 1 rupee to 50 crore. If it is within that apdina, you are MSME and need not follow 1828. My turnover is within limit. And my borrowing also within limit. Ana, I am a related party. of that organization who has to follow 1828. So if my elder brother is following 1828 apdina, then I also have to follow 1828. Will I look into turnover criteria and borrowing criteria? No. That is the last point. For me to become MSME who should not comply with 1828 apdina, then I should not be the holding a subsidiary of MSME covered in the above two conditions. So in our example, who is that MSME covered in the above two conditions? CA.Prathik Academy is that MSME which is covered in the above two conditions. Turnover is more than 50 crore. Borrowing is more than 10 crore. Apana, CA.Prathik Academy has to follow 18 and 28. Since I am either the holding or the subsidiary of that entity who has to follow 1828 means, then this entity also has to follow 1828. Got it, not got it? Okay, not okay. Any doubts in this? No. Turnover mentioned is always considered excluding other income. And whenever you consider turnover, it should be net sales. Sales minus sales return. If this is clear, can we do some sums? Now, is this clear? Now, example number 7. KVA Cooperative Bank. KVA Cooperative Bank. Turnover 12 crore. Borrowing 2 crore. KVA Cooperative Bank is neither listed and nor the holding and subsidiary of the large entity. So it is neither holding nor subsidiary of large entity. Who am I? Large entity. What are you saying, man? Turnover, look, no, it is less than 250 crore. Borrowing less than 50 crore. But it's a very good. It's a bank. The moment you see bank, it is a shoot at sight item. Bank itself means what? By default, it is always large entity, large entity. Don't even look into turnover. Don't look into borrowing criteria, nothing. Bank means by default large entity. KVA Cooperative Bank is a cooperative bank. Bank are specifically excluded from MSME classification. Bank are specifically excluded from MSME classification for the purpose of applicability of AS. Therefore, it shall be treated as large entity and is required to comply with full AS with all accounting standards. No exemptions. In addition to that, they have to comply with the banking regulatory requirement. Turnover and borrowing limit are not relevant in this case because the moment you see bank means by default they are large entities. Okay, not okay. Now, as state events, company or non-company. If it is company apnina, public na listed irukano. Private na private limited irukano. Sorry, public na limited irukano. Private means private limited should be there. OPC na OPC irukano. If none of the name is attached apnina, then this is a non-corporate. Non-corporate. Okay. Turnover 12 crore. Borrowing 2 crore. Neither listed nor holding or subsidiary of the large entity. Okay, wow. Who am I? What is the first condition of MSME? Should be unlisted. First condition satisfied. As stated is not listed. Second condition, it should not be a bank, nor should be a financial institution, nor an insurance. Eduma mentioned mandla. And from name we can't figure it out that they are bank or insurance or financial institution. Apnina second condition also satisfied. Third condition, their turnover should be 1 rupee to 250 crore. Means it should not exceed 250 crore. See, when I say turnover should be 1 rupee to 250 crore, apnina, it is our language. Don't write in exam income the turnover should be rupee 1 to 250 crore. There is a language in which you have to write in the exam income. There's a professional language which I'll teach you now. To put the data in mind, I will use all the shortcuts. Languages will be compromised. But in exam, you can't use all these languages in income. You have to be very professional there. So what language has been captured in your ICA book? In the law, the same language has to be captured. The same thing should happen or you should follow in the law paper and audit paper also and tax paper. Wherever law is coming into picture. If you want to really score well, you have to follow the strict language of the law. You cannot write things on your own language. Though we say, you can write law in your own language. You can't write your own law, but write the law in own language. But somehow that has become a problem of late. We've seen that when people write too many provisions or points, as per their own grammatical formation of sentence, somewhere in correction, they are getting compromised. So as long as possible, whether in accounting, wherever we record theory-based questions, law, audit, tax, wherever theory comes, law comes more specifically. kindly stick on to the language given in your respective law book, respective book. Don't overwrite and don't write what do you call it in a way that you totally change the language. You deviate from the textbook because ultimately the person who is correcting the paper is driven by a key answer. So in the key answer, the copy paste is done from the textbook only. So please do not deviate too much. Okay. Third condition, turnover is less than 250 crores. Borrowing is less than 50 crore. And he is neither holding or subsidiary of the large entity. All 5 conditions satisfied. So asset event is a MSME. Asset event is a non-company entity whose securities are not listed. Is not neither a bank, FI or insurance entity, whose borrowing does not exceed 50 crore, whose turnover does not exceed 250 crore, who's not holding a subsidiary of the large entity. Hence, asset event qualifies as MSME and is entitled to applicability of AS with exemptions and relaxations prescribed for MSMEs. Okay, not okay. In the exam, if they ask you to mention those exemption relaxations, then you have to mention full exemption. Then you have partial exemptions, that is disclosure-based exemptions. Then you have something called as event-based exemptions. All that you have to mention and come. Okay, not okay. Online people, okay, not okay. Okay. Next. Fortunes Fun Learning Academy. Turnover 300 crores. Borrowing 20 crores. Neither listed, not holding a subsidiary of the large entity. Who am I? Large entity, how? Turnover crossed 250 crores. Turnover crossed 250 crores. Will I look into any other conditions? No. So by default, I'm a large entity. Borrowing is not exceeding 50 crore at any time during the previous year, but turnover is more than 250 crore. Hence, FFLA will be classified as large entity and therefore all AS will be applied with no exemptions. No exemptions. CA.Prathik Academy. Turnover 9 crore. Borrowing 1 crore. Not listed entity, but holding entity of FFLA. It's holding entity of FFLA. Who is FFLA? FFLA is large entity. FFLA is large entity. Condition 1 satisfied. What is condition 1? Should not be listed. Satisfied. Condition 2 satisfied. CA.Prathik Academy is neither bank nor FI nor insurance. Condition 3 also satisfied. Turnover is not exceeding 250 crore. Condition 4 also satisfied. Borrowing not exceeding 50 crore. Anna. Condition 5 not satisfied. CA.Prathik Academy is holding entity of that entity, which is a large entity. So if my elder brother or younger brother is large apnina, I also have to become large. I have to follow all accounting standards. CA.Prathik Academy is an entity whose securities are not listed, not bank, borrowing does not exceed, turnover does not exceed. But KVA is holding entity of FFLA, which is a large entity. And by virtue of that, KVA will also be classified as large entity and therefore all A's will be applied with no exemptions. Comfortable? Imagine if I don't give you any of these examples, only theory I read, then couple of MCQ I do and finish it off. Then what will happen? You will feel that as if you understood it, but when the question is slightly twisted, no, all sorts of confusions will come inside. So these examples will make you more confident about what you already know. Now, ABC firm, turnover 151 crore. 40 crore is borrowing of current year 23-24. 31st March 2024 is a part of current year 23-24. Borrowing is less than 50 crore. Borrowing is less than 50 crore. Okay, not okay. Borrowing is less than 50 crore. Not okay. Yalini is saying not okay. Why Yalini? Okay, Yalini is saying now okay, sir. Now okay, sir. Thank fellow. We never see the borrowing of current year for current year applicability. For current year applicability, we always see the borrowing of previous year, preceding accounting year. So current year ka borrowing is not relevant for current year's classification. Whether it is turnover or borrowing, I'll see for the preceding accounting year. Got it, not got it. Now, remarks they're telling that it had 50 crore borrowing. It means who? ABC firm has got 50 crore borrowing on 1/4/22 or 1/10/22 or 31/3/23. 3 dates have given. All this 3 date is falling in which financial year? Which financial year? Which year? 22-23, which is nothing but previous year of current year. previous year of current year. So previous year borrowing is 50 crore. Now tell me, large entity or MSME? Large entity or MSME? 50 crore. Up to 50 crore it is MSME. More than 50 crore only means large entity. Now my question is ABC listed or unlisted? Unlisted. First condition satisfied. ABC is neither bank nor insurance nor financial institution. Second condition satisfied. Turnover is not exceeding 250 crore in previous accounting year on the last day of previous accounting year. Nor the borrowing is exceeding 50 crore at any time during the previous accounting year. Nor ABC firm is holding a subsidiary of the large entity. Who am I? MSME. Turnover not more than 250 crore. Borrowing not exceeding 50 crore at any time during the previous accounting year. Therefore, ABC firm will be classified as MSME. But as turnover is more than 50 crore, turnover is more than 50 crore. Borrowing is more than 10 crore. What has to be complied with? 18 and 28 will be complied with. But as turnover is more than 50 crore and borrowing is more than 10 crore, though being an MSME you have exemption, but for 18 and 28, no exemption. No exemption. Okay, not okay. MSME enjoy some exemption. To enjoy exemption of 1828, what is the condition? Turnover should be up to 10 crore. Turnover should be up to 50 crore. Borrowing should be up to 10 crore. And I should not be holding a subsidiary of that entity who is complying with 18 and 28. But here, turnover is also more. Borrowing also is more. So hence I have to comply with 18 and 28. Okay, not okay. Any difficulty? Online people, any difficulty? No. Next comes XYZ firm. Turnover 151 crore. 40 crore borrowing current year. Irrelevant. It had borrowed 50.01 crore in the previous year 22-23. Any date. I have taken random 3 dates. Any date you take of the previous year, the borrowing is 50.01 crore. Apana, am I MSME? No, I'm a large entity. Should I check the turnover criteria, borrowing criteria for 1828? Because the moment you become large entity, every AS has to be complied with. There's no exemption only. Turnover is not more than 250 crore, but borrowing is exceeding 50 crore at any time during the previous accounting year. Hence, XYZ firm will be classified as large entity, and therefore all AS will be applied with no exemptions. SPJ firms. Turnover 151 crore. Which year? Previous accounting year. Last day of the previous accounting year. 51 crore borrowing. 51 crore borrowing. Oh, borrowing limit crossed. 50 crore borrowing limit crossed. Yalini saying, no, sir. This is irrelevant. This will become relevant when you know. If I'm deciding the MSME criteria for 24-25. For 24-25 previous year is what? 23-24. That means this borrowing is relevant. And now the current year 23-24. For that, which is my relevant previous year? 22-23. In that year, what is my borrowing? 49 crore. So SPJ firm is not listed. Neither bank, insurance or FI. Turnover is not crossing 250 crore. Borrowing not exceeding 50 crore. Neither I am holding a subsidiary of large entity. Who am I? MSME. Very simple. Turnover not more than 250 crore. Borrowing is not exceeding 50 crore. Therefore, ABC firm will be classified as MSME. But since turnover is exceeding 50 crore, not borrowing. It should be turnover exceeding 50 crore during the current year. Oh, sorry. There's a different line. It says that borrowing exceeding 50 crore during the current year is not relevant for current year classification. If 51 crore wanted, I have put no. So I have put an explanation there. Let this be whatever it wants to be. Current year ka borrowing is not relevant for current year ka classification. Adhaan potrikkenga. Borrowing exceeding 50 crore during the current year will not be relevant for the current year classification. However, since turnover is more than 50 crore and borrowing is more than 10 crore, 1828 is not exempted. You are MSME. You have exemptions. But since your turnover is more than 50 crore, borrowing is more than 10 crore, 18 and 28 cannot be exempted. That you have to comply with. Alpha services. Turnover in crores. turnover 250 crore, turnover 250 crore, turnover 250 crore, large or small, MSME. Up to 250 crore, MSME. More than 250 crore, large. Borrowing 49 crore, within limit. Neither listed nor holding subsidiary of the large entity, means it is an independent entity. How many conditions? Totally 5 conditions. First condition satisfied, not listed. Second condition, nor bank, nor FI, nor insurance. Third condition satisfied, turnover not exceeding 250. Fourth condition, borrowing not exceeding 50 crore. Neither I am holding a subsidiary of the large entity. Who am I? MSME. Classification, MSME. Reason, if I don't read, is it okay? Same thing only I mentioned. What we discussed orally is what is mentioned. Beta Solutions, turnover 151 crore, 45 crore is borrowing, but Beta is subsidiary of Gamma. Who's Gamma? Gamma Limited, which is a large entity. Oh. Gamma is large aptina, elder brother. Beta is subsidiary. Apana Gamma is elder brother. Beta is younger brother. Elder brother is large entity. Appa younger brother has to follow large entity. But MSME, all 4 conditions satisfied. Doesn't matter. Since you're holding all subsidiary of the large entity, you also become large entity. The answer is large entity. Delta Traders, turnover 51 crore, borrowing 10 crore. But Delta Trader is the holding company of Omega Limited, which is a large entity. Delta is holding of Omega. Who's Omega then? Subsidiary. Subsidiary is large. If younger brother large aptina, elder brother also has to follow large ka rules. Okay, not okay. So Delta Trader is a large entity. Large entity. Sigma Consultants, turnover 50.1 crore. Turnover 50.1 crore. Borrowing 10.1 crore. 0.1 I put here. Exceeding limit. Now tell me. Sushmita, Manly, Inia. Where is the video? Barani, Amoga. Video, please. Is Sigma Consultant listed? No, it is unlisted. First condition satisfied. Unlisted. Second, is Sigma Consultant bank, FI, or insurance? No. Second condition satisfied. Is turnover exceeding 250 crores? No. Third condition satisfied. Is the borrowing exceeding 50 crore? No. No. It is satisfied. Last condition, relationship. Let's see. Sigma's consultant is subsidiary of another MSME called ABC Traders, whose turnover is 11 crore and borrowing is 5 crore. So first let's decide in the ABC irukku whether it is MSME or not. ABC's turnover is 11 crore, borrowing 5 crore. Let's assume that the other 3 condition is satisfied, which means ABC Trader is not listed, nor bank or FI or insurance, nor holding subsidiary of the large entity. Turnover also is within the limit, borrowing also within the limit. Apnina, ABC is MSME. The Sigma Consultant is subsidiary of this MSME. So holding, it's not holding first room, beta. Go straight, first room. Correct? So now tell me, Sigma Consultant, who am I? MSME. First room, left. Who am I? MSME. Okay. Sigma Consultant, MSME. Okay. 1828 should I follow or not follow? 1828 should I follow or not follow? What is 1828 ka rule? 1828 ka rule. Turnover should be up to 50 crore, but here it is 50.1 crore. I said I crossed the limit for 18 and 28. Borrowing is more than 10 crore. 10.1. Apana 1828 has to be complied with. So Sigma Consult is MSME. ABC Traders also MSME. Both are MSME. But Sigma Consultant is not exempted from 1828. So AS 18 and 28 it has to follow because borrowing is more than 10 crore. Kana, Rudra, borrowing is more than 10 crore. So Sigma Consultant, should I comply with 1828 or not? Yes. Now my question to you is, ABC Trader is MSME. Will ABC Trader comply with 1828 or not? Yes. Why? Because their group entity, Sigma Consultant, is complying with 1828. You also have to comply. You cannot be exempted. In the relationship, ABC is got stuck. Got it? Not got it? Relation with MSME is allowed and exemption could be availed, but as turnover is more than 50 crore and borrowing is more than 10 crore, 1828 is not exempted. Since Sigma Consultant has to comply with 1828, ABC traders, even though MSME turnover is within threshold, still it has to comply with 1828 because it is because of its applicability on Sigma Consultant. Since Sigma Consultant has to comply with 1828, and since ABC trader is related to Sigma Consultant, it also has to comply with 1828. But turnover ellame control la irukku, aanalum comply panni avanum. I'm talking about whom? ABC traders. Very good. Any difficulty? Anybody's got any doubts? Did I go anywhere fast here? Slowly I'm going, no? Okay. Zeta Logistics. Turnover 49 crore, borrowing 9 crore. It is in joint venture with a large entity. Joint venture with large entity. In relationship, there are three types of relationship. There are three types of relationship. You'll study in consolidation. One is holding subsidiary. One is holding subsidiary. Second is associate. And third is joint venture. How did you guys know? Law. Studied. Foundation or inter? Both you had. Oh my God. Genius people. The three types of relationship that you can have. One is holding subsidiary, associate, and joint venture. Now, for the purpose of applicability of accounting standard, in the relationship criteria, they have not considered associate and joint venture. What are they focusing only on? Holding subsidiary. So whether you have joint venture or associate relation with other party, that does not influence you to be a large or non-large entity. Got it? Not got it? So this is totally irrelevant. This is totally irrelevant. So if you are having any entity where you have a joint, venture or associate apnina, you completely ignore that. You'll consider that entity as independent entity. You'll consider that entity as independent entity. Any problem? Adya Vijay is joined. Today is what? Tuesday only, no? The 12th student is joining. Later class and interclass. Okay, let's talk about Zeta Logistics. Adya, my dear, you're in the wrong class, ma. This is CA interclass. Today is Tuesday. We'll meet tomorrow evening. Bye. Now, Zeta Logistics, not listed. Neither bank, FI or insurance. Third, turnover is not more than 50 crore. Borrowing is not more than 50 crore. Nor we are holding a subsidiary of the large entity. All the 5 conditions satisfied. It is MSME. Joint venture or associate is not equal to holding subsidiary relationship. Okay, not okay. Now, let's take a quick break of how many minutes you want? It's 7 right now. 3 minutes? 3 minutes? Or 8 minutes? Next, let's take a break of 8 minutes. We'll come back and continue with the next small topic. So by 8 o'clock, we'll try to wind up. Thank you so much. I hope it is getting recorded. Chalo. Yes, people, welcome back from the break. Kila recording போயிட்டு இருக்கு. So far, what time we started? 5:40. 6. Let's say 5:40 also, no? Now it is 7:13 we stopped with the class. எவ்வளவு hour ஆச்சு? 7 1 hour 23 minutes approximate, no? Okay, chalo, great. So I think the recording is going on. Anyways, let's continue. Now, there are a couple of points to be discussed. So let's have a discussion on that. Disclosure of MSME. This point says that an MSME which avails the exemption or relaxation given to it shall disclose by way of notes to accounts and financial statement the fact that it is an MSME and that it has complied with all the accounting standard insofar as they are applicable to MSME. So what they're trying to say is that Kalpavriksha Academy, I'm an MSME. I'm an MSME. All 5 conditions satisfied. In my financial statement, in notes to accounts, which is coming after balance sheet, I'll prepare first balance sheet, then trading and P&L account, then notes to accounts will come. No, in that notes to accounts, I have to mention that I'm an MSME. Appdi mention pannu. Also have to mention that whatever is the accounting standard applicable to me, no, that everything I've complied with that, like that, I have to give a declaration. This is the compulsory requirement. Got it, not got it. Now, how the language should be? How the language should be? I'm just modifying this. This is a line given in previous, what you called PDF document. That is on the May 26th before PDF irundhadhu. And the PDF I've taken. This is the old PDF. In that, this line is given for the corporates. The same line I'm rewriting in form of non-corporates. The entity is a MSME. So you're giving a declaration that you are an MSME. First point. This or all is not required. Accordingly, the MSME, that is entity, has complied with the accounting standard as applicable for MSME like that. Accordingly, the company has complied with the accounting standards applicable to small, medium-sized company. Otherwise, as an entity, whatever is accounting standard applicable to me, all of that I've complied with like that, you have to give a declaration. A statement has to be formally given. Got it, not got it. This is a compulsory disclosure. Okay, not okay. So, two things you have to state. One, you have to state a fact that you are an MSME. Only then the person who's reading the financial statement will understand that you are MSME. Second thing, the person who's reading the financial statement should know or wants to know whether you have complied with all applicable AS or not. For example, are you exempted from AS1? No. Are you exempted from AS2? No. You have to comply. 3, 17, 20 fully exempted. 24 fully exempted. Correct? You have some partial exemptions. And other AS you have to fully comply. No. Other accounting standards fully have to comply. That have you complied or not? For that you have to give a declaration. Got it, not got it? Tell me. Got it. Second and third, leave it. We have a practical question based on that. So I'm going to fourth point. MSME. Not opting for exemption for certain accounting standard. MSME is not opting for exemption. So ICA is telling that you have exemption. But I am telling that no, I don't want exemption. I will follow all AS, or in that exempted AS, some AS I will follow. If an MSME opts not to avail exemption or relaxation available to an MSME in respect of any but not all AS. Adavde, let me read this. I'll give example. I have example below. If an MSME opts not to avail exemption or relaxation available to an MSME in respect of any but not all the accounting standard, it shall disclose the standards in respect of which it has availed exemption and relaxation. Example. The company or entity, let's say it's an entity. The entity is a MSME. The entity has availed exemption in respect of 3 and 17. Okay. What exemptions they have? Let me talk about MSME. What is the full exemption? In which AS? 3, 17, 20, 24. Now this standard says that if any MSME opts not to avail exemption, in AS 3 and 17, we are not opting exemption. We want to disclose 3 and 17. If exemption is there for 20 and 24. If MSME opts not to avail exemption for 3 and 17, it shall disclose the standard in respect of which it has availed the exemption. So for which have you availed the exemption? 20 and 24. So that you have to give a disclosure. That I'm availing exemption for 20 and 24. For that you have to give a disclosure. Okay, not okay. Okay, not okay. Okay. Point number B. If an MSME opts not to avail any one or more exemption or relaxation available to it, it shall comply with all the relevant requirement of that AS for which exemption is not availed. If 3 and 17 exemption is available, but you're telling no, I don't want exemption, I'll opt for 3 and 17. So when you're opting for 3 and 17, you have to comply with full AS. In that you can't say, no, selected point I will show, selected point I will not show information. That you can't say. If you are opting for, not availing exemption for 3 and 17, then full 3 and 17 AS has to be applied and followed. Got it, not got it? Clear or not clear? So first point talks about disclosure of that standard in respect of which it has availed the exemption and relaxation. So 3, 17, 20, 24, 4 relaxation is there. But in that 3 and 17, I'm choosing to fully comply with. I'm not choosing relaxation. But relaxation yaar karke? 2024. So 2024, I'm having relaxation. I'm not disclosing opting. You have to give a fact. You have to state the fact where? In the notes to accounts. And 3 and 17, what you're following, no? You can't do partial following. Touch pannina ellama follow panniyam. You have to follow everything. Either you go for exemption or no exemption. Exemption pouring appadina follow exemption rules. no exemption அப்படின்னா then full AS has to be followed whatever you opted for. Got it, not got it? Example, ABC Limited is MSME, has exemption available under 3, 17, 20. 24 also will come. Now I have not written, missed it. 24 also will come. The company decides to avail exemption for in AS 17 and 20 and 24, but not AS 3. How many A's are there? 3, 17, 20, 24. The company decides to avail exemption of 17, 20 and 24. Upon a 3, they are not availing exemption. Upon they are following exemption. Fulla they follow pandranga. Explain the treatment. ABC Limited has availed exemption in respect of some exemption. Some exemption is there, but not all A's they have exempted. So for which A's exemption is taken? 17, 20, 24. In such a case, the company is required to disclose the accounting standard in respect of which exemption has been availed. For whom exemption is availed? 17, 20 and 24. This is as per point number A. So what point number B says? Point B says that as an entity which is not availed exemption for AS3, it shall comply with the full requirement of AS3. You have to comply the full requirement of AS3. You can't say that since AS3 you said don't comply, but I am complying voluntarily, so I will comply what I feel like. What is the rule saying? AS3 need not comply. Full exemption. But what are you saying? No, I will comply. But I will comply what I want. Partially apdina. Will I say accepted? No. We're complying apdina fully, or else don't comply. Okay, not okay. That is what point number B is trying to say. So I'm repeating one more time. Kalpavriksh Academy. Here itself is there, then what? Kalpavriksh Academy. MSME. Full exemption for what? AS 3, 17, 20, 24. For 3, I am not availing exemption. Apni I have to follow AS3? Yes. I am availing exemption. For 17, 20, 24. Okay, wow. Point A is telling what? What is point A telling? You have to disclose that AS for which exemption you have availed. Apana, I have to mention in the notes to accounts that I'm availing exemption for 17, 20, 24. Okay, wow. What is B telling? Now that AS3 are complying, no, don't comply partially. Do full compliance and mention that I've done full compliance of AS3. Like that, give a comment. Now clear or not clear? Online people, now clear or not clear? Okay. Now coming to point number 2 and 3. High chances that question can be framed based on this. Very, very tricky. Please concentrate. An entity was a large entity earlier. Later, they became MSME. Where an enterprise which was previously a large entity means not MSME. Subsequently, later qualifies as an MSME. Later it became MSME. In that case, it shall not be entitled to exemption or relaxation available to MSME. Means even though it is MSME, relaxation will not be given unless it remains MSME without exemption for 2 consecutive years. Means MSME exemption will be available only from 3rd year and onwards. Now, I have a sum based on this. Let's do one sum. Example 18. Kalpavriksh Academy furnishes the following information and wants to classify itself as MSME and avail exemption from year 2 onwards. Who is Kalpavriksh Academy? Is it a listed entity? No. Am I bank, FI or insurance? No. Is my turnover more than 250 crore? In first year, maybe yes, because I'm a large entity. Is my borrowing more than 50 crore? Maybe in first year, yes, because I'm a large entity. Okay, wow. Imagine the relationship is independent. So first year, large entity apdina. What is applicability? All A's with no exemption. Year 1, I'm a large entity, so I have to comply with all A's with no exemption. Okay, wow. Now, year 2 have become MSME. Maybe my turnover is being less than 250 crores. Borrowing is reduced. Something has happened. By that virtue, I become an MSME. The moment I become MSME, can I say I have exemptions? Generally, I'm talking about. Generally, MSMEs have exemption. So here, the entity wants to avail exemption. All 5 conditions satisfied, it is MSME. It wants to avail exemption. Avail exemption from year 2 onwards. Now, ICA says that, sorry, not possible. If you are MSME in year 2, you cannot avail exemption. You might be an MSME, but you can't avail exemption. For how many years they can't avail exemption? 2 consecutive years. So year 2 and year 3, you have to be MSME, means satisfying all the 5 conditions. So all 5 conditions satisfied, but all AS has to be complied with. Only in the third year, third consecutive year, you have to be MSME. From that year onwards, only you'll get exemptions. Now tell me what is the logic behind this? Tell me what is the logic behind this? There should be some reason why ICA has done this, no? Manipulate, okay. Why you have to go in manipulation point of view only? Culprit second what manipulate பண்ண மாதிரி இருக்கா? Unpredicted loss இருக்கு. So what? Okay, not really. Any other reason? On in 1 second, So what? அப்ப இயர் 2 தெரியல நான் இயர் 3 லாஸ் ஆவேனா இல்லைன்னு சொல்லிட்டேன். That cannot be reason. No, that is not the reason. Yes, online you said something. That's what he also said. No. Okay, let me tell you. See, ICA is telling that year 1, you are a large entity. Means what? All the accounting standards you are complying with. When you're complying with all the accounting standards, the confidence of the external stakeholders on your entity will be very high. For example, let's say I'm a bank. The bank has given a loan to CA.Prathik Academy. Seriya? Now, since CA.Prathik Academy in the year 1 is large entity, bankers know that, oh, you are large entity. Yeah. If you'll comply with all AS properly like that, he knows it. On that confidence, he has lent the money. On that confidence, he has lent the money. Now, suddenly in the second year, your turnover has gone below the line and you've become MSME. Now, when you start availing exemption apdina, disclosures will be another exemptions kadchich apdina. So AS3 reporting you will stop. You'll stop reporting about AS17, AS20, AS24. You'll start taking partial exemptions. So a lot of information which I am reliant on, you're not providing to me. Why are you not providing to me? Because you're telling that I'm MSME. I'm not supposed to follow all this accounting standards. So I'm availing exemption. You will avail exemption and go. As a banker, I am become blindfolded. Based on your financial statements transparency, based on your first year's financial statement transparency, I lent the money. When you start availing exemptions in the year 2 itself, what happens? As a banker, I'm not getting the visibility of so many ASs. How is your cash flow statement? I don't know. Because in the second year, if you are MSME, availing exemption apdina, AS3 need not be prepared. AS3 talks about cash flow statement. Looking at the cash flow statement, I will get to know that whether your business is operating properly or not. இப்போ அதே நீங்க ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணல அப்படின்னா எனக்கு எதுவும் தெரியாது உங்க பிசினஸ் பத்தி. I will not know the movement of money in your business. I'll be blindfolded. So ICA says that from a large entity, if you're going to become a small entity அப்படின்னா, small or medium entity, for 2 years you have to do a complete disclosure so that the bankers or the external stakeholders get the complete visibility for 2 years, then to decide whether to associate with CA.Prathik or not. First year associated. Second year, because of becoming MSME, all the data you start hiding apdina, you don't disclose apdina, I'm not getting any visibility. As a banker, as an investor, I can't come and sit in your accounts department and do checking. I'm dependent on the financial statement that you're providing to me. First year financial statement fully transparent. Everything is openly disclosed. Second year, because of being MSME, availing all exemptions, part information is there, part information is not there. Since part information is not there, as a banker, I'm not able to understand, should I continue to give the loan to you or not? So for external stakeholders, to ensure the same amount of transparency is continued, same amount of reliability is continued, ICA said that even though you're MSME for second and third year, you have to report full AS. All the AS has to be reported. So all AS with no exemptions. In this 2 years, the stakeholders will decide whether to travel with you or not. Accordingly, they can decide because 2 years is good enough for a person to decide. Third year onwards, you can avail exemption. But the condition is 2 year you have to be MSME. 2 year you have to be MSME with all AS compliance. and third year also MSME should be there. Then only AS ka exemption will be given. Got it? Not got it? Got it? Not got it? Let's come back and read this line. Now it will make sense. Where an enterprise, which is Kalpavriksha Academy, which was previously a large entity in the year 1, not MSME. Subsequently, that is in year 2, qualifies as an MSME. Why? Because all 5 conditions satisfied. Though I am MSME in year 2, it shall not be entitled to exemption or relaxation which is available to MSME until what period? Unless it remains MSME without exemption for 2 consecutive accounting years. Back to back 2 year I should be MSME and I should not avail any exemption. Then MSME exemption will be available to me only from 3rd year onwards, provided I am MSME in the 3rd year. Okay, not okay? Okay, not okay? Online people, okay, not okay? No response. For a large entity which subsequently becomes MSME, and if desiring to avail exemption in AS, it has to remain MSME with no exemption for 2 consecutive years. Therefore, in the above case, Kalpavriksha Academy has to remain MSME with no exemption in year 2 and year 3, so that it can avail exemption in year 4 by still being an MSME. First year large. Second and third I should be MSME with no exemption. Only then in 3rd year I'll get exemption provided I'm a MSME. Got it? Not got it? Next scenario. Year 1 large entity, full AS with no exemption. Year 2 MSME exemption is there, but can I take exemption? No. So I have to do full AS with no exemption. 3rd year large entity, again large entity, full AS with no exemption. 4th year MSME, full AS with no exemption. Now you can't say this is year 1 and this is year 2. So from year 3 onwards I will continue to be availing exemption. 2 consecutive years it should be MSME. 2 consecutive years should be MSME. So this will be considered as year 1 of consecutiveness, and this is 2nd year. So 2 years of consecutive MSME with no exemption. Only then in 3rd year of MSME exemption will come. Okay, not okay? Okay, not okay? Everybody, online people, correct? No, fine, no, fantastic. Now coming to next point. I was earlier MSME. Now I become a large entity. I was earlier MSME. Now I become a large entity. If an entity was MSME earlier, it enjoyed MSME exemptions. Such as what? AS3 need not be followed. Cash flow statement need not be prepared. But now it is no longer qualifying MSME. Appa it become a large entity. Appa AS3 should be complied or not? Yes. From the current year onwards, it must fully apply the relevant accounting standard without MSME exemptions. Okay. Now what is the problem here? The problem is that when you prepare a cash flow statement of the current year, as per AS3, you'll have data. All of you know that for cash flow statement, we should give the comparative figure of previous year. Previous year, since you are MSME, AS3 was not complied with. When you became the large entity, current year. When are you preparing cash flow statement? Current year. Now the question is, in the current year, should I prepare the previous year ka cash flow statement? In current year, should I prepare the cash flow statement of previous year? See, previous year not preparing. Because previous year you were MSME. So AS3 not prepared. Current year you became large. Current year cash flow statement you're preparing. And a cash flow statement, letting the column. One is current year data, and for comparative purpose, you have to give the previous year data. So current year ka data is there. No problem. You're doing it. Should I create previous year ka data or not is what the question is. So I say telling that not required. Because if you have to do that apnina, then what is the point of exemption? So on the hard work vandan solida ivlo duro solirkom. So not required. So previous year comparative is not required. So past year's corresponding financial statement need not be changed or restated in the current period since exemptions were used earlier. So current year AST when I'm preparing, current year data I'll put in. In comparison to that, previous year data not required because previous year you had exemption, no? So current year also need not prepare the data of the previous year. Got it, not got it. But you have to give some disclosure notes. You have to give some disclosure. What is the disclosure? First you have to tell that it is an MSME in the previous year. In the current year, you have to mention that you're a large entity. But you have to mention that in the previous year you were MSME. That fact you have to mention. Also, you have to mention that being an MSME last year, which all exemption were availed earlier. In the current year, you should mention that last year was MSME. Last year, AS3 was exempted. Both the fact of that should be stated in the current year. The fact that the previous year figure is not revised will also be stated. In the current year, what are you supposed to state? Since last year was MSME, since last year I took exemption in AS3, current year ka previous year figure I'm not recording. In current year AS3 compliance, I'm not stating the previous year ka data. Like that, you have to give a statement of declaration. மூணு விஷயம் சொன்னோம். In current year a large entity, you have to mention that previous year I was MSME. I was exempted from AS3. Therefore, in the current year, though I am preparing AS3 of current year data, current year column, previous year data is not there. Why? Because I have exemption in the previous year. Like that, a fact has to be stated. So that I, as a banker, when I read it, no, I'll be wondering, what donkey fellow? AS3 is preparing. Current year data is there. Where is previous year data? Previous year data, yavada, apnin keta vande disclosure kaamigal. So in disclosure, what is there? I am MSME in last year. I was availing exemption in AS3. Therefore, current year, I did not do the previous year ka calculation. Previous year calculation is not done in current year. Like that, you have to state the fact. Okay, not okay. Let's see one question. So these both points are common for, these both points are there, no, what I discussed now. Point number 2, large entity to MSME and MSME to large entity. It's common, same point for corporates and non-corporates. Same point for corporates and non-corporates. Example 9. CA.Prathik Academy furnishes the following information. Year 1 MSME. Year 1 MSME. No need to prepare the CFS as per AS3. No need to prepare CFS as per AS3. No need to prepare cash flow statement because AS3 is exempted. But in year 2, I became a large entity. Need to prepare cash flow statement as per AS3. Now, what is the problem? What is the problem? CA.Prathik Academy, while preparing cash flow statement in year 2 means what? Large entity year. It is confused whether it is required to prepare cash flow statement for year 1 in year 2. So when I prepare the cash flow statement here or no, I'll have 2 columns. One is current year column, one is previous year column. Current year column ka data I'll put in. Previous year ka data should I put in the current year 2 or not? In year 2, should I give the data of year 1 or not? It is confused whether it is required to prepare cash flow statement for year 1. For year 1, in which year? In year 2, in order to provide a comparative figure of the previous year or not. Should I do the comparative of the previous year in current year or not? That is the question. Now, cash flow statement, format, particulars. Year 2 will be prepared in current year. Year 1 should be given as comparative of the previous year or not. That's a question mark here. Purida. Problem state பண்ணிருக்கேன். இது cash flow statement format. Net profit before tax and extraordinary item. Current year ka data given. Generally, we give the comparative of the previous year. So year 1 ka data should be given or not given because year 1 ka data I have not prepared in the last year because last year was exempted. So should I prepare this data and produce in the current year or not of year 1? Solution. MSME exemption in year 1. In year 1, as MSME, CA.Prathik Academy was exempt from preparing cash flow statement under AS3. So no cash flow statement was prepared for year 1. Correct? Okay. Comparative requirement in financial statement. As per Schedule 3 of Companies Act, comparative figures are to be presented wherever applicable. However, comparative must be provided only to the extent available and required by applicable. Yes. So what is the ICA's guidance here? Where an entity was exempt from while preparing a particular statement, cash flow statement in the previous year due to its classification of MSME, it is not required to retrospectively prepare for its comparatives in the current year. Any problem? Should I go back and retrospectively prepare the comparatives of the previous year? Not required. In the current year, should I go back and prepare the CFS of the first year? Not required. Conclusion. CA.Prathik Academy is not required to prepare cash flow statement of year 1 in year 2 just for its comparative purpose. Who is saying this? ICAI is saying this. Got it, not got it. Now, whatever points we discussed, no, that points is mentioned here. Let's quickly go through. An MSME which avails exemption or relaxation given to it shall disclose by way of notes in the financial statement the fact that it is an MSME, and the second fact that it is complied with all accounting standard applicable to MSME. That is what is the first point I mentioned here. So whatever points is mentioned here, the same point I mentioned in my notes also. So wherever required, I give example and explanation. Where an MSME had qualified for any exemption or relaxation previously, that is in year 1, but no longer qualifies for exemption in the current accounting period, which is year 2, it became large entity. So no exemption. The relevant standard or requirement becomes applicable from current period only, and the figures for the corresponding period of the previous accounting need not be revised merely by the reason that it is having ceased to be an MSME. Oh, heavy language. So what they're trying to say is that year 1 you were MSME, year 2 you become large entity. Year 1 MSME exemption enjoyed. Year 2 large entity no exemption. Need data prepare panna. But you're preparing the data of the year 2. Do you need to give data of year 1? Do you need to revise any data of year 1? Not required. Is what this paragraph is trying to say. Purida, you can try to read this on your own. Same point what I mentioned here is been given here. Okay, not okay. So by that virtue, all the points has been captured. All the points has been captured. One point is missed. This alone I'll discuss. An MSME may opt for availing certain exemption or relaxation from complying with AS. You may opt for availing certain exemptions. Okay, wow. Provided that such partial exemption or relaxation and disclosure shall not be permitted to mislead the user of financial statement. What are they trying to say? An MSME, you may opt for availing certain exemption or relaxation from complying with AS. You have some relaxation exemptions. Provided that such partial exemption or relaxation, for example, we have disclosure based exemption, no? The data that you're providing partially and the data that you're not providing partially should not be in a way that it is misleading the user of financial statement. நீங்க வந்து ஒரு partial disclosure கொடுக்குறீங்க, remaining part you're not giving. For example, in AS 11 they're telling that this particular paragraph is there, no, do not disclose. By not way of disclosing that, if it is leading to misleading apdina, if it is misleading apdina, then that point needs to be addressed properly. Right? So any kind of relaxation exemption that you're availing, no, that should not be benefiting you alone. It should benefit the user also. Means it should not mislead the user in any manner. Got it? Not got it? Clear or not clear? Okay. Last class, when I say we did example 1, that big question we did. We did example 2 also over. Yes, example 3 also over. Example 4 and 5 I've included. This I'll not discuss today. Tomorrow when I do revision of this entire chapter, example 4 and example 5 I will discuss. This example 4 and 5 is nothing but people. The old textbook is there, no? Previous year textbook. In that they had practical question 9 and 10. That they removed and they put new question for you. So 9, 10, practical question 9, 10 of the previous year was a different question. And for you in the current year, the practical question is different. So what I thought was that question could also be important. So that I took and put it in your example as a example. I mean that I put it in the notes as an example. So this 4 and 5 I'll discuss when I do revision tomorrow. So when I do tomorrow, I'll do a full-fledged revision of entire chapter. We'll discuss MCQ also and practical questions behind the chapter that is also discussed. There's one more thing which I have to discuss today. With that I'll wind up. Example 6. KV limited it is. Limited. Limited means what? Company furnishes the following information and wants to classify itself as MSME and avail exemption from year 2 onwards. Year 1 non-SMC. Non-SMC means for non-corporate it is large. Year 2 it became SMC. SMC means what? In non-corporate it is MSME. Same point. Earlier I was large. Now MSME. Earlier non-SMC. Now I am SMC. So on the end point, but discuss pannolla, which is of example 8 and 9. MSME to large, large to MSME. Same point is applicable for corporates. Non-SMC to SMC, SMC to non-SMC. Same ditto point applicable. So for that, I'm giving one question. First year non-SMC. Non-SMC means what? I'm a big company. All A's I'll follow. All A's I'll follow. Anna, in year 2, my turnover is less than the threshold. So I became SMC, means small and medium company. Now the question is, can I avail exemption in year 2? Can I avail exemption in year 2? No. Year 3? No. Year 4? Yes. Provided you are SMC for 2 consecutive years without exemption, and in year 3 also you are SMC, then only you'll get the exemption. So in year 1, non-SMC, AS with no exemption. Year 2, SMC, still though you are SMC, but you have to follow all AS, no exemptions. Third year also SMC, apply all AS with no exemptions. So year 4, after 2 consecutive years, in year 4, since you're SMC again, you will now get exemptions. So for a non-SMC, which is subsequently becomes SMC, from large to MSME, from non-company to small company, sorry, from big company to small company. And if desiring to avail exemption in AS, it has to remain SMC, means small company without exemption, with no exemption for 2 consecutive means what? 2 back-to-back years. Therefore, in the above case, KB Limited has to remain SMC with no exemption in year 2 and year 3, so that it can avail exemption in year 4 by still being a SMC. Same scenario. Year 1 non-SMC, all AS. Year 2 SMC, still no exemption, all AS. Year 3 non-SMC, AS, no exemption. Year 4 SMC, AS, no exemption. Year 5 SMC, AS, no exemption. But year 6 SMC. Why? Because after year 3, for 2 consecutive years, I was SMC without exemption. So now in year 6, which is my 3rd consecutive year, I'm SMC, so I can avail exemption. Same point. This is criteria for companies, right? Companies given in the previous year textbook. An existing company which was previously not a SMC means what? Big company in year 1. Subsequently becomes SMC means what? Small company shall not be qualified for exemption for AS available to SMC until the company remains SMC for 2 consecutive accounting period. They put by way of note in the textbook that I've put in form of point and some also have given. High chances that you might get a question based on this. High chance. So in the end point, discuss pannaliya. Mark that very important. From that only, if the question comes from this chapter up tina, and the segment people will not concentrate. Generally, all the students will not concentrate. From there only, highest question is probable. Because everybody else will remember the limit thoroughly, that they'll study and go. In the end point, theory they will not study. So high chances that the question will come from this segment. So mark it very, very important. So for that, I gave practical questions also, so that you can balance it well, right? So technically, I'm done with this chapter. Yes, I'm still left with discussion on MCQ and practical questions. So that I'll not discuss in the regular class. I'm thinking that tomorrow, there is next class when I do revision, no? As a revision series. In that, I'll do a quick recap of the all provisions, criteria for both the companies and non-companies, and we'll discuss MCQ and behind practical questions, right? So everything get sorted. So when you're doing revisions later, if you just see the revision video 1 month or 2 months before the exam, it will be more than sufficient. You need not go through the entire regular classes. Nanda, correct? No, this is what you wanted, no? In CA Foundation? Yes. So Nanda's voice and all of your mind voice I've captured. So wherever possible, I'll try to come out with a lot of revision for these chapters, which will help you during the examinations, right? So on that positive note, let's sum up for the class today, people. That's all from my side for this session. I'll see you all in the next class, which is on the revision of this chapter. Until then, bye-bye. See you. Take care. Thank you so much. Online people, bye. Thank you, people. Thank you.